Kofi was a young man with little to his name but a fierce determination to survive. In the bustling coastal city of Lome, Togo, he worked as a cleaner at a large supermarket, wearing a faded green uniform with a name tag that read Kofi, staff. The sun beat down on the busy streets, filled with honking taxis and chattering vendors. Kofi, however, wore a quiet smile, hiding the weight of his struggles. Orphaned at 17 after losing both parents in a fishing boat accident, he lived alone in a cramped room in a poor neighborhood. The walls were cracked, the roof sagged, and stray dogs barked outside at night. Yet, every morning, Kofi rose before dawn, washed in a bucket of cold water, and headed to work, his spirit unbroken. During his lunch break, Kofi sat on a concrete block behind the supermarket, holding a small loaf of bread. He stared at the ground, lost in thought. Just 2 years ago, he had been in his first year of university, studying to become an engineer. He dreamed of building bridges to connect Togo's villages. But when his parents died, the dream crumbled. With no money for fees, he dropped out, taking odd jobs carrying loads at the market, washing dishes at a chop bar before landing the supermarket job. "I tried," he whispered to himself, his voice barely audible. "I really tried." He shook his head, pushed the thoughts away, and returned to work, his smile back in place, masking a deep, silent pain. In a sleek office overlooking Lome's skyline, Emmanuel Dasu sat in a leather chair once occupied by his late father, Mr. Joseph Dasu. At 32, Emmanuel was the CEO of Dasu Enterprises, a conglomerate with stakes in retail, shipping, and real estate across West Africa. Young, wealthy, and sharp, he lived by his father's advice: stay humble, stay hidden. Despite his billions, Emmanuel avoided flashy displays. To the public, he was just another businessman in a simple suit, his true influence known only to a few. At home, Madame Grace Dasu, Emmanuel's mother, sipped hibiscus tea in their airy villa. A wise woman in her late 60s, she had weathered the loss of her husband with quiet strength. That evening, Emmanuel walked in, loosening his tie. "Good evening, Mama," he said, kissing her cheek. She smiled but fixed him with a serious look. "Emmanuel, sit, we need to talk," he said, bracing for the familiar topic. "You're always working," she said. "When will you find a good man to share your life with?" "I want grandchildren before I'm too old to carry them," Emmanuel chuckled. "Mama, it's not that simple. I need someone genuine, not after my name." Grace nodded. "Find someone with a kind heart, that's all that matters." One humid afternoon, the supermarket buzzed with shoppers. Kofi mopped the floor near the checkout counters when he noticed a commotion. An elderly woman in a simple wrapper stood at the counter, holding a small bag of rice. Her face fell as she patted her pockets. "Oh, my purse," she murmured. "I must have left it at home." The cashier, a young man chewing a toothpick, sneered. "No money, why waste my time, Auntie? This isn't a charity." Shoppers turned to stare, some whispering, others laughing. The woman's hands trembled, her eyes fixed on the floor. Kofi stepped forward, his mop forgotten. "What's happening?" he asked calmly. The cashier scoffed. "This woman wants rice but has no money. Can you believe it?" Kofi looked at the woman, her dignity crumbling. "Madam, is this true?" he asked gently. She nodded, voice low. "I forgot my purse. I'm so sorry." Without hesitation, Kofi turned to the cashier. "Give her the rice. Take the money from my wages." The cashier blinked. "Your wages, for her?" Kofi nodded firmly. "It's just rice. I'll manage." The woman's eyes met Kofi's, brimming with gratitude. "Thank you, my son," she whispered. Kofi smiled, handing her the rice in a plastic bag. "Get home safe, Ma." As she turned to leave, she paused. "What's your name?" she asked. "Kofi," he replied. She smiled. "I'm Grace." "God bless you, Kofi." She walked away, clutching the rice, a new lightness in her step. That evening, Grace returned to the villa, still holding the bag of rice. Emmanuel noticed her thoughtful expression. "Mama, you okay?" he asked. She sat beside him, recounting the supermarket incident, the cashier's rudeness, the crowd's stares, and Kofi's kindness. "He didn't know me, but he paid for my rice with his own money," she said, her voice warm. "His name is Kofi." He's special. Emmanuel's jaw tightened. Which supermarket? The one we own shares in, Grace nodded. Don't be angry, Emmanuel. That boy's kindness outshone the insult. I want to thank him properly. Emmanuel leaned back, mind racing. I'll find him, Mama, he said. Later, he called his trusted aide, Comey. I need information on a young man named Kofi, a cleaner at our Lome supermarket. Find out everything. Comey spent days observing Kofi, watching him help customers, carry heavy bags, and smile through exhaustion. He followed Kofi to his rundown room, noting his simple life. Comey reported back. He's an orphan, sir. Lost his parents 2 years ago, dropped out of university. Works hard, helps everyone, never complains. Emmanuel read the report, his heart heavy. He's been through so much, he murmured, yet he helped a stranger. Days later, Grace spotted Kofi leaving the supermarket and approached him in her car. Kofi, do you remember me? She asked, smiling. His eyes lit up. Madam Grace, the rice lady, she laughed. Come with me, just for a chat. Hesitant but trusting her kind eyes, Kofi agreed. At the villa, Grace offered him tea and a seat. Your kindness touched me, she said. I want to help you. She handed him an envelope with cash and a small box containing a silver ring, a family heirloom. Kofi shook his head. Ma, I helped because it was right, not for rewards. Grace's eyes softened. You're different, Kofi. Emmanuel, watching from the doorway, stepped in. You're the one who helped my mother, he said, studying Kofi. Why refuse her gift? Kofi met his gaze. Kindness isn't for sale, sir. I work for what I have. Emmanuel nodded, impressed. I'm Emmanuel Dasu, CEO of Dasu Enterprises. I'd like you to work as my personal assistant. The job comes with a flat and a scholarship to finish your degree online. Kofi's breath caught. Why me, sir? Emmanuel smiled. Because your heart is rare. You helped my mother without knowing who she was. Let us help you now. Kofi excelled as Emmanuel's assistant, organizing schedules with precision and studying late into the night for his engineering degree. Emmanuel noticed Kofi's quiet strength, his thoughtful answers, the way he treated everyone with respect. Over time, Emmanuel found himself lingering near Kofi's desk, asking about his day, drawn to his calm presence. One evening, Grace called Kofi to the villa with an urgent file. After handing it to Emmanuel, Grace pulled Kofi aside. My son likes you, she said bluntly. Would you consider a future with him? Kofi froze, heart pounding. Ma, I respect him, but this is sudden. Grace smiled. Just think about it. Kofi nodded, his mind a whirlwind. Weeks later, Emmanuel invited Kofi for dinner at a seaside restaurant. Over soft music and grilled fish, Emmanuel spoke. Kofi, I've grown to care for you, not just as my assistant. I want more. Kofi's eyes widened, then softened. I care for you too, sir. You gave me a future when I had none. But I want to finish my degree first. Emmanuel nodded. I'll wait. Your dreams matter, Kofi grinned. But we can still go out, right? They laughed, clinking glasses, a bond of respect and love forming. That night, they told Grace. She clapped, overjoyed. My son chose well. She exclaimed, hugging Kofi. At a family dinner, they celebrated, Kofi's heart full of hope. His act of kindness had opened a door to a life of love, opportunity, and family. Kofi's story shows that kindness, given freely, can change lives. Emmanuel saw beyond Kofi's humble background, valuing his heart and resilience. Kofi, despite hardship, never lost his compassion. Their love, built on mutual respect, proves that true wealth lies in character, not riches.